Hello, it is I, your boy Gomi, and we are back with another UFC pay-per-view. The last pay-per-view of the year of a very disappointing year. I'm gonna go out and say it. Has not been the great. Hopefully, has not been the greatest of years. 2023 and 2 and 1 and 20 and 19 and 18 have all been better. I gotta say, legitimately, 2024 is the worst in recent history. 17 as well too. I mean, 17 had probably the best card of the year, but yeah. Those were the last years that basically 17 onward are the last years that I watched every card. Essentially, I skipped maybe one or two across the entirety of those 6 years I just mentioned. So that is the most I could speak on. If you don't know, 2016 to 13, I didn't really watch very much at all because GSP had retired. But regardless, it's been a weak year. We have the last pay-per-view of the year. I'm hoping it's a good one. I see a lot of people saying this one should be a really good one. I'm not necessarily sold, to be perfectly honest with you. I want it to be good. I'm not as hyped for this one, being perfectly honest with you. But who knows? Who knows? It could be good. We don't know yet. We'll see. We'll see. It's just the main thing. I'm not really sold on the main event, to be honest with you. And the co-main event I really like, but I actually like it a lot better than the main event, which sucks. But well. The main event sucks. Just sucks. I like the co-main better. Regardless, let's get into this card. It should still be a pretty decent one. So, first fight on the card is going to be the worst fight, right? Yeah, that's actually really good. The first fight is the worst fight. That's always a good sign. Kenny Nchukwu versus Lucas Brzeski. I'm Polish, can't say his name. I'm disappointment to my race. Regardless. Kenny Nchukwu, he has moved up to heavyweight. As you know, he took out was it the last No, it was 2 pay-per-views ago at 308 where he took out the GOAT, Chris Barnett. Yes, Kenny Nchukwu looked amazing in that fight. But it was Chris Barnett. And Chris Barnett was injured in that fight. Regardless, he still looked amazing in that fight. You have to say it. That's how he looked. He looked really good. A lot of people had questions of how he was going to look at heavyweight, and he looked pretty solid. I thought he was always going to be good for the heavyweight division with his 83-inch reach and his high size. He's able to fight well behind that jab. It's just that I can't get out of my brain that loss to OSP. That was a horrible look. That was a horrible look. Losing to OSP, I'm sorry, but an age OSP. OSP at his very height when he challenged for the belt against John Jones, I didn't think was that good, to be perfectly honest with you. So now we have Kenny Nchukwu losing to him? That's insanity to me. But regardless, it happened. Still though, I don't think we're gonna see the same thing from Lucas Brzeski. Brzeski's not good. His only win in his last 4 fights was against the older Walker. And if you are a fan of the channel, you know how I feel about now Walker and his brother. Beyond that, he lost to Boudet, Williams, Where's Waldo, Parkin. Parkin and Waldo are, they're good. Losing to them is not bad, but you got to have a win over someone other than Walker. I think Kenny will pick him apart at distance. Brzeski, he likes to fight at a range when he doesn't really have a good range, and then Kenny will chew him up at distance. So, Kennedy TKO. And then next fight is going to be Clay Guida versus Chase Hooper. This is a freaking weird fight. This is such a weird fight. I always forget. And am I older than Hooper? I think I'm older than him. He looks so young. He looks like a really young Roman Kopylov, a lot of people like to say. How old are you, Chase? Yeah, I am older than him. That's so weird. But yeah, we have a very old veteran in Clay Guida versus a very young guy in Chase Hooper. This is the very textbook definition of young versus old. It's a weird fight, but I think a very winnable fight for Chase Hooper, to be perfectly honest with you, because Clay Guida, he's just too worn. He's too long in the tooth, to be honest with you. Clay Guida's pretty solid. He could be a little bit, what's the word? Savvy. He can put on some veteran savvy sometimes. He tries to outwork you. Really good wrestler, but he's susceptible to getting submitted. he's got quite a bit of losses. He can lose here and there, and like I said, he's old. Chase Hooper, his only issue he's had in his fights has been his abysmal striking. He seems to have improved on it a little bit. He was able to drop Slava claws. Now, granted, the threat of the takedown, so I'm not going to put so much stock into that, but at the end of the day, he looked decent. And when it comes to wrestling-wise, Clay Guida, I feel, is the better wrestler. Chase Hooper, on the other hand, I feel is a better grappler. Better BJJ, more aggressive from his guard. Guida will take him down, and Chase Hooper will be like, okay, that's exactly what I freaking wanted. And he could submit him pretty easily. I feel like that's going to be the most likely scenario as well. Oh, guess what I completely told myself that I was going to be better at and then forgot to do. Kenny Chuku, by the way, is a massive favorite over Lucas Brzeski at minus 520. And, oh my God. Oh, that's a different fight. Oh, God. Where's Hooper? Where you at, Hooper? Ah. Oh, God. No, it's even worse. Yeah, Chase Hooper is a minus 1,000 favorite over Clay Guida. Yeah, don't bet that. Don't bet that. Don't bet on Kenny as well, too, at that odds. Don't bet on either of these guys at that odds. But yes, I think Chase Hooper will get it done by submission. Okay. Michael Chiesa versus Max Griffin. If you're also a fan of the channel, you should also know how I feel about Michael Chiesa as well, too. You're probably at some point going, do you like any fighters? I like the guys in the co-main event, but I'm going to be honest, I don't like this card. Michael Chiesa. Oh boy, he is a grappler through and through, but he's such a one-dimensional grappler. He's got no knockouts to his name, and he's just, like, his heart's not in it. I don't know why he's fighting, maybe finishing out a contract, maybe for some little bit more money, but he's got an analyst job at the desk. That's where he belongs, honestly, and I don't think he's good there, to be honest with you, but that's where he's truly at. The only win he has since 2020, right? Maybe 2021 was Tony Ferguson. Beyond that, he lost to Holland, Brady, Luque, and guess what? How he lost 2 out of 3 of those were the freaking goddamn darts. He keeps getting darts. That's like his main, like, hey, I'm gonna lose. It's gonna be by darts. Max Griffin doesn't have a good darts choke, so I don't know about that. But Max Griffin, he's very basic. He's very durable. It's really hard to get him out there. Only been knocked out once against, it wasn't Marias, was it? I don't think it was Marias. I don't remember. He's only knocked out once. I want to say it's Marlon Marias, but I think Marias took him to the decision. I was very pissed off about that. But he only was knocked out once in his career. He's very durable. He's hard to submit. Michael Chiesa only can submit people, to be honest with you. That's all he's got. His striking is pretty ass. He's big for the division, which is nice. He's tall for the division. He still has heart like a lightweight, in my honest opinion. I think Max Griffin will piece him apart. I think he'll take him apart across distance and over 50 minutes. So I'm gonna go decision victory for Max Griffin. I don't like this fight at all. This fight sucks. So yeah, actually, no, Nchuku Brekshi is still a worse fight. Cody Durden versus Joshua Van. Cody Durden is, I don't have much to say on him. He's basic. He's not really a dangerous striker. He's a basic striker overall. He's durable, and he really only gets submitted. Joshua Van, on the other hand, is a guy I've been very high on. Why is it blank out his last fight? But he's a guy I've been very high on. Pretty solid and vicious striking. He's not insanely good technical, but he's so ferocious, the best way to describe him. He lands 8.39 per minute. He just throws and throws and throws. And the problem is he doesn't have a ton of power. He's got a good bit of knockouts. But one of the things that leads to these knockouts and his best avenue in terms of like pushing out power shots has been his body shots. I love his body work. He rips so hard to the body. And a guy like Cody Durden, who typically will stand taller, yeah, he's going to get picked apart. I want to pick KO. I want to say KO. But I'm going to go decision for Van just because I think Durden's a little bit more durable. But I definitely think Joshua Van's going to win it. I've talked about this fight last card, and it has only gotten worse. Now the fact that it's a catchweight bout. I believe it's 190 pounds. Don't quote me on that. Maybe 200. I don't know. Either way, I still don't care about it. I still think Chris Weidman is going to lose, but I don't think Eric Anders is that good. He just got off a sickness as well, too. So, yeah, give me Eric Anders' decision still. Part of me was like, maybe swap to Weidman because he was sick, but nah, screw that. Weidman still sucks. He's gonna eye poke the hell out of him. And then we're on to the prelims. First is going to be Randy Brown versus Brian Battle. This is a solid fight. This is a really good one. Randy Brown, he's a veteran at this point, but he's very tricky, very crafty. He typically has a very good range. He fights behind a very educated and powerful jab. He's coming off a really good win over Muslim Salikov. Randy Brown for a long time was a decision fighter. He's a point fighter, always going to distance. But maybe he might have found... Oh wait, no, it's not his last fight. Salikov was 2 fights ago. Who did he fight last? Dos Santos, which was also a decision. Damn it. That fight was... Oh, yeah, I forgot. Because that was an awful card. It was at 302, I think. 302. Yeah, it was definitely 302 because there's no ways in 301. 301 and 302, I barely remember anything from those cards because they were so bad. But, yeah. Randy Brown, typically is a decision fighter. He can knock you out. But the thing is, Brian Battle is a guy who lives for the battle. He always fights well in the pocket, and I just gotta say, I love watching him work. He really does a good job of piecing people apart, and when things get chaotic, it's when he gets his absolute best as well too. The problem is Randy Brown, he does a good job of fighting behind that jab, and he has taken pretty chaotic and exciting fighters like a Chaos Williams, and he has kind of what's the word, nullified their game, made them not as crazy, not as chaotic. So that is something to worry about. I just don't think... I think Battle will be able to push through. He'll be able to cross that distance, and he'll be able to mix it up. Grappling is not going to be a thing. If anything, I'd say Battle is a better grappler, but they're not really going to be grappling, to be honest with you. They're going to be striking. It's just that Battle really needs to fight through getting past that jab, which is going to be his main issue. I don't think he has the power of a JDM to just fight through the jab, get one shot, take him out, no. But I definitely think he has the power to be able to hurt Randy Brown. I'm going to be leaning towards decision, to be honest with you. I think the first round is going to be a Brown jab fest. I think he's really going to pick apart at distance and kind of work his way through the fight. But then Battle is going to kind of like get it. I feel like he's going to go have a I understand it now moment and just absolutely put it on Randy Brown. And I think he's going to take it. So, yep. That's going to be my prediction for that fight. I'm going to go decision for Mr. Battle. Movsar Evloev versus Aljamain Sterling. Everyone is pissed off that this fight is not on the main card. I'm not. And I'm not surprised. People are pissed and surprised. And I say you guys are idiots. People who are upset and surprised that this is not on the main card don't know one of the core things about UFC, which is drifting away from the best versus the best, and it really focuses on performances. Now, granted, I think you can be the best and have great performances, because I think the 4 best fighters in UFC right now are also 4 of the most exciting fighters in the UFC as well right now, which is going to be Makhachev, Topuria, Pereira, and Tom Aspinall. All exciting, but also the best. The thing about these guys, they're really good, but here's the thing. Dana White hated this fight with a burning passion. You really think that they're going to be on the main card? Should they be over freaking Reyes Smith, Luque Themba? Yes, they should. I didn't do the odds for any of these fights. I don't care. Should they be over them? Absolutely, yes. But guess what? You were boring your last fight. You're going to get punished. It's as simple as that. And I don't know why people get that. You could disagree with that. Because I definitely think they should be on main card. But I'm cool if they're not. Because I don't care. I'd much rather see Nate Landwehr versus Duhoi Choi. I wouldn't want to... Granted, I'm sailing the 7 seas. But Granted, I wouldn't pay money to see Movsar Evloev versus Aljamain Sterling. Why would you? Why are there Aljamain Sterling fans? I don't get that either. Oh well. Regardless, these are two of the top featherweights right now. Aljamain Sterling, ever since coming up to featherweight, has been looking great. Great, yes, great is applicable. Exciting, no, but great, yes. He's a very good grappler. He always comes in tune and in shape, and he has a very unorthodox striking style. Movsar, on the other hand, he's more stronger. I feel like he's gonna have the strength advantage. He's a very powerful guy. He doesn't have bad striking as well too. Yes, I know he has no finishes in the UFC at all, and I don't think this fight's gonna be a finish as well. But I really do think that he's overall a very solid fighter, and I don't think he's as boring as... He's definitely more exciting than Merab or Bilal, despite him having less finishes in them. I would much rather watch a Movsar fight, and I think he's a much more exciting fighter than Aljamain Sterling, and I do think he is the better fighter than Aljamain Sterling. I think his grappling is going to be better overall. I prefer the Russian Dagestani-esque wrestling of a Movsar to the BJJ of Aljamain Sterling. I think he's going to put him in better spots, land some good shots from the top, and I think he's just overall going to be the more solid fighter, and I think it's going to go the distance. Vicente Luque taking on Themba Gorimbo. Actually, I might as well give the odds for this. Not accurate. Minus 245 for Movsar, plus 200 for Sterling. Vicente Luque versus Themba Gorimbo. I hate this fight. This was supposed to be a fight that I hated even more, which was the corpse of Nick Diaz versus Vicente Luque. You know what's the thing about this card? Why I feel like a lot of people like this card? It's got a lot of old fighters on it. It's got Guida, it's got Hiesa, it's got Weidman, it's got, I guess at this point, Aljo's an old fighter too. Brown, it's got Luque, you got Reyes Smith. I see why you got like a lot of people like this, but these are old fighters, not necessarily good. I feel like the level of competition has gone past these guys, and this is a perfect example of it. Because Vicente Luque, any other day of the week, I'd say he mops the floor at Themba Gorimbo. Themba Gorimbo's been a guy that I have picked against a lot, and I've been wrong a lot, but then I picked him, and he's looked awful. I know. But any other day of the week, Vicente Luque just destroys him in the striking realm. But not this current Vicente Luque, not the one we have anymore. This Vicente Luque is coming off the brain bleed. He still doesn't move his head. He employs more of a tentative kind of basic bitch grappling game nowadays. I just don't think he's the level he once was. He's too worn. He's too long in the tooth. He's taken too many shots, too many hits, too much damage. I think overall, this Vicente Luque that we have, I think he loses to Themba Gorimbo, to be perfectly honest with you. Themba Gorimbo does not have a great striking realm, so he's not going to beat him in that avenue. He's not going to beat him like Wonderboy beat Vicente Luque, but I think he'll out-grapple him. I think overall he'll just win more moments. I could see Luque winning. It's why it's a hard fight. I don't care what the odds are. I'm staying the fudge away from this fight. I picture Themba is going to be a minor favorite, and I don't like him like at all in this spot. It's just, I'm not picking Themba to win because he's a better fighter. I'm picking Themba to win because Vicente Luque is the more worn fighter, which is not a good way to pick fights if you're going to be betting on it. Odds wise, of course, Themba Gorimbo is a slight favorite at minus 162. Vicente Luque you lost them, plus 136. I think Themba takes it in decision. This fight sucks. Dominic Reyes versus Anthony on Paper Smith. I have been very critical of Dominic Reyes. While I do think he did win against John Jones, and I'm still upset that Jones got that W, and to this day, I'm even more upset that it was a unanimous decision, which is a load of shizer. I have never had the amount of love I've noticed that people have had for Dominic Reyes and Anthony Smith, other than taking the knee against Jones and not caking the W via knee disqualification victory. I respect him for that, but that's about it. Otherwise, Anthony Smith, he's worn. He has 58 fights, 20 losses. He's worn at this point. He's easy to knock out. He doesn't have Lionheart anymore. Who was it? Was it TJ Dillashaw on the one podcast was roasting him, saying he's not a Lionheart, he's a quitter? He is. He simply is. He quit against Roundtree. He quit against Walker. He quit against Magomed. He is a quitter. He is what everyone keeps mistakenly think Charles Oliveira is. That is Anthony Lionheart Smith. I'm not a fan of Lionheart, to be perfectly honest with you. I think he's going to get his ass blasted, to be honest with you. Reyes, while I don't think is that good anymore, I don't think he's that guy. And I think he's not as bad. He's not as down bad as Smith. I know he did get a win to go over Dustin Jacoby, which I was kind of pissed off because I was really thinking that was the end of Reyes. But beyond that, he got beat by Blachowicz, which is good. There's nothing wrong with that. Blachowicz was the best freaking light heavyweight in the world in that fight. God, I missed that Jan Blachowicz. And then he got knocked out by Yuri, who was, again, the best light heavyweight in the world at that fight. God, I missed that Yuri. And then he got knocked out by Span. Like, what the? And then you're going to want to do MMA math and say, oh, just because Smith has 2 wins over Span, he's going to be... No. Reyes is a better grappler than that. Reyes, I think, should win this. And I think it's going to be a I was going to say shitty decision, but... Why did I write Smith TKO? Get that out of my face. It's going to be Reyes TKO, but it's going to suck. And on to the main card. Nate the Train versus Duhoi Choi. I like this fight a lot. I think this is a very fun fight. I'm fine with this fight being on the main card. Sorry to say, guys, this fight I much rather would watch over Movsar Evloev. I would much rather watch this fight over Movsar Evloev versus Aljamain Sterling. And if you disagree, I mean, you do you, but you really like grappling that doesn't go anywhere, which is unfortunate that fight's gonna be. Nate the Train and Duhoi Choi, they throw down, they bang. Nate the Train has really solid ground and pound, and he is a very good workhorse. I really personally myself love watching Nate the Train fight. He has really odds. Anthony Smith plus 270, Reyes minus 340. Yes, Nate the Train had a really, really good fight, which, damn, it didn't even let me get to think of the time. It didn't even give me enough time to think of the fight as well, too. Oh, David Onama. It was against David Onama. He had a really good fight against David Onama a couple fights out ago, and he had a really good win over Jamal Emmers. And his fight against Dan 50K was also pretty solid. I like watching Nate the Train win. He has really good recovery. He never quits. He's constantly going forward, and he's just very, very durable. He's a dog. Simple as that. He will always outwork his opponent if the opponent isn't elite. Do I want to say 50K is elite? If he could take on a guy of Duhoi Choi's level. Duhoi Choi, he could be a very tricky striker, but his main thing is he's got power. Simple as that. He's got a lot of knockouts, double-digit knockouts, great deal of power, hits hard. He can take a shot well. That's it. I think Nate will outwork him. I don't think he'll finish him, but I definitely think he's going to outwork him. And give me a decision for Nate the Train, in which would be, I think, a pretty fun fight. I think it'll be a pretty fun fight. I like it. Now, the fight that everyone absolutely and their mother is upset that's on the main card, and I understand with you, I really do. This is the main thing too. People are like, oh, Movsar Evloev versus Sterling should be on main card over this fight. And I definitely think this fight should be off the main card, but I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I'd rather put Randy Brown versus Brian Battle on the main card over Evloev Sterling. Yeah, sorry. That would be it though. But regardless, Mitchell versus Crone, this fight is horrendous. Why is this on the main card? Why are we pushing Bryce Mitchell, and why are we pushing Kron Gracie? That's simply it. They're trying to push them. They really want to make a star of Bryce Mitchell. Never gonna happen anymore. Never gonna happen after he got brutally finished by Ilia Topuria and then got knockout of the year by Josh Emmett. It's not gonna happen, guys. Get it out. Stop it. Regardless, he's gonna beat the shit out of Kron Gracie, and it's not gonna be a fun fight either too. It's not gonna be a fun fight. Bryce Mitchell is gonna be playing in guard a lot. He's not gonna get submitted because he's pretty good submission defense. The reason why Ilia Topuria was able to submit him was because he beat the living piss out of him otherwise. But Kron Gracie's gonna do off on the feet. He's gonna do the butt scoot jiu-jitsu. They're gonna strike, and if they strike, Bryce Mitchell is the far better striker. I think just overall, this is a shit fight. This is not gonna be a fun fight. Odds wise, oh my god, Bryce Mitchell is minus 675. No, no. I'm not betting on that. But yes, Kron Gracie plus 490. I think it's gonna be a decision win for Bryce Mitchell. And on to the card, the main fights on the card. We're gonna have a heavyweight rematch that I didn't ask for. Some of you guys asked for, but I don't ask for rematches. But it's gonna be Ciryl Gane versus Alexander Volkov. Ciryl Gane's going to be 34 years of age, 12 wins, 2 losses, 6 knockouts, 3 submissions, 6'4" in terms of height, orthodox stance, 81-inch reach advantage, a 0.58 takedown average, a 62.80% significant strike accuracy, minus 330 favorite for Ciryl Gane, and significance over Sergey Spivak, Tai Tuivasa, Derek Lewis, and Alexander Volkov, the guy standing across from him. Alexander Volkov is going to be 36 years of age, 38 wins, 10 losses, 24 knockouts, 4 submissions, 6'7" in terms of height, orthodox stance, 80-inch reach disadvantage, a 0.85 takedown average, a 61.47% significant strike accuracy, plus 225 underdog. Significance over Sergey Pavlovich, Tai Tuivasa, Alexander Romanov, and Marcin Tybura. If you know me, you know I've actually been historically a fan of Volkov. I really wanted to watch him versus Francis Ngannou back in the day. Never came to pass, and I kind of figured it probably wouldn't have. His last performance pissed me off. I did not like his last fight against Sergey Pavlovich. It was a sparring match. Wasn't that exciting to me, to be perfectly honest with you. But at the end of the day, it was a very good performance and showed that Alexander Volkov still has it. Ciryl Gane has been a guy I've been historically mixed on. I thought he was going to beat John Jones, which is a dumbass idea looking back. But I thought he was going to beat him because of the inactivity. I didn't think he didn't train any grappling at all. When he said that during fight week, I thought he was joking. Yes, he said that during fight week. He said he trained 0 grappling whatsoever. And also he's top 100 ranked in FIFA during fight week. I thought those were all jokes. They were not. Ciryl Gane otherwise has only fought once a year in France, and he gets a knockout over a fat blob. He already fought Volkov years before. I may not seem excited for his fight. I'm not. I don't think Volkov has improved that much. He's improved, actually. I think he's improved. I don't think Gane has improved. He might have. If he did, it's not been shown in his fights. He's fought the same as the past couple fights. And he only really goes for the finish in France, which is weird, but oh well. I don't think Gane has really improved. I still think, though, he's going to be leagues better than Volkov, because the people who are really excited for this fight, I feel, don't remember or watch the first fight. I don't blame them, because it was a very uneventful fight. Gane was just significantly better than Volkov and easily cruised to a 25-minute decision. Nothing special there. Volkov really had no moments when he was winning that fight. Volkov has improved now, but I don't think he's improved enough to make it more of a competitive fight, to be honest with you. I can still see Gane pick him apart from distance. The main thing is Volkov needs to go for takedowns. He needs to go for takedowns, but even then, it's not like Gane is super abysmal on the ground. It's not like that. Like, Spivak couldn't take him down, and Spivak is a good grappler. I remember one person tried to tell me that Spivak wasn't a good grappler. Spivak is a good grappler. It's just that Jones is an elite level grappler. So I think overall Volkov will maybe put on him a little bit more, maybe land a few more shots, but I just think Gon's just going to piece him apart across 15 minutes now. And it's a 15-minute fight as opposed to a 25-minute fight. I don't care for this fight at all, to be perfectly honest with you. And I think it should be easy W for Gon. So, yeah. Oh, well. Bleh. Poopy fight, to be honest with you. I don't know why they made this fight and not Gon versus Almeida. I would have rather watch that. I would have loved to see that, but I guess not. And on to the co-main event of the evening, the people's main event, the fight that I and most people want to see. Shavkat Rakhmonov finally freaking returns. Yes, Shavkat's been super inactive, but that's because nobody's been fighting him. There's been nobody for him to freaking fight, which is god awful. But yes, he's back versus Ian Machado Garry. This should be a really good fight. I like this fight quite a bit, believe it or not. I think this is going to be a fun ass fight. Shavkat Rakhmonov is going to be 30 years of age, 18 wins, not a damn loss, 8 knockouts, 10 submissions. Wish it was perfectly balanced. 6'1" in terms of height, orthodox stance, 77-inch reach advantage, a 1.49 takedown average, a 70.92% significant strike accuracy. Damn, and he's not even a ground and pound guy. That's a good accuracy. God damn. 3.90 or 3.90. Minus 390 favorite. Significant wins over Wonderboy, Jeff Neal, Neil Magny, and Alex Oliveira. Man, they bought both the Neils. Neil Magny and Jeff Neal. Ian Machado Garry, 27 years old, 15 wins, not a damn loss, 7 knockouts, 1 submission, 6'3" in terms of height, orthodox stance, 74.5-inch reach, disadvantage, a 0.77 takedown average, a 58.66% significant strike accuracy, plus 290 underdog. Significant wins over MVP, Jeff Neal, Neil Magny, and D-Rod. A lot of people are harsh on Ian Machado Garry because of the whole cuck thing or whatever. I don't give a damn who he sleeps with or who he lets his wife sleeps with. I care more so about the fighting. I will be honest, he has pissed me off in the Neil Magny fight because I don't know what the hell he was doing with that fight. Like he was fighting for a decision when he could have finished him, and that pissed me off. Other than that, I got no problem with Garry. Simple as that. I don't have any other problems with Garry. I think he's actually a very solid fighter overall. The main problems he's really going to have with this is Shavkat is just such a relentless force. He just throws and throws, and he just lands. He's powerful. He's got really good grappling as well, too. I think he's one of the most well-rounded fighters. The only problem is he doesn't move his head, which Garry can use to piece him apart, which is why this is a very close matchup as well, too. I think it's a very close matchup. I see the odds have a overwhelming amount of favor for Shavkat. I'm going to be leaning towards Shavkat, but not by that much. Not by a minus 400. That's insanity to me. Ian Machado Garry is not going to be able to abuse his reach because he does usually have a reach advantage over a lot of the opponents he fights. Shavkat will have the reach advantage. Shavkat, though, will be fighting to get inward. He will be fighting to make it close. And Ian Machado Garry, when he does fight those guys who wants to strike, he is smart and he does mix in the grappling. He mixed in very well with MVP and he had very good grappling in there. Not good finishing ability as opposed to Shavkat, but good grappling nonetheless. That is not going to work on Shavkat Rakhmonov. But don't think Shavkat is the insane Omega Elite level marauder nightmare killer than a lot of people do think he is. He hasn't fought the best brand of competition. Wonder Boy's long in the tooth. Jeff Neal had 5 pounds over him. He all of a sudden went life or death with him. Meanwhile, Garry actually just picked him apart very easily. Best way to say it. I don't know. It's difficult to rank them based off just how they beat their opponents, because they do have a lot of similar opponents, but they fought them each very differently, and technically you want to say Shavkat fought the better fight because he finished both of them, but Ian Garry could have absolutely finished Neil Magny at almost any point. It's a very good fight. It's very rare too that you get 2 undefeated fighters going up against each other, which is something that I really enjoy. This is true. This is good matchmaking. When people say oh, why are you negative on a lot of these cards, a lot of these fights? Why are you negative on them? It's because we're getting shit fights. Like, we're getting bad matchmaking. Like, this right here, on the other hand, though, this is excellent matchmaking. This is an exciting fight, undefeated prospects, and honestly, I treat this as more of a title fight, to be honest with you. I really wish they put the interim title on the line. I'm not going to get into it on Bilal Muhammad, but let's just say, please, dear God, I'll take either one of these guys as champion over Bilal Muhammad. But yes, I think Shavkat Rakhmonov will take this. I think he's going to be the more polished striker. We've seen Garry get chinned a few times. We've never seen him knocked out, of course, but we've seen him get clipped. I think Shavkat will be able to catch him either spinning back kicks or say like some shots down the middle. I feel like his straight shots aren't the most powerful, but I think he has the better avenue to knock out Garry. But Garry can knock out or hurt Shavkat. It's just that we really haven't seen Shavkat hurt much at all. Like he took Jeff Neal's best shots, a heavier Jeff Neal, and nothing. We didn't see Garry get hit by those because of the speed discrepancy, and I definitely think he'll be the faster fighter, but I don't know. I'm leaning towards Shavkat. I don't think he'll be going to the ground. If it does go to ground, Shavkat takes it. So I have to be going Shavkat by finish as well too. 18 wins, hasn't had a decision yet. You want to say he's due for one? I don't think so. I don't know. I think he's going to club and sub Garry. I think he'll submit Garry, but club and sub. But either way, I think it's going to be a very fun fight. Another reason why I don't think it goes a distance is it is 5 rounds. We've never seen Shavkat go past 3 rounds. Garry, we've never seen go past 3 rounds as well, but we've seen him go 3 full 15 minutes. So uncharted territory for either guy if it does go into the championship rounds. And on to the main event of the evening. Alexandre Pantoja is going to be defending his flyweight title against the UFC debutant in Kai Asakura. Yes, I alluded to it. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. It really should have been Kai Kara-France, one of the few guys at the top that Alexandre Pantoja didn't fight. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't think Kai Asakura is all that. Regardless, let's get into it of why. Alexandre Pantoja is going to be 34 years old. He has 28 wins, 5 losses, 8 knockouts, 10 submissions, 5'5" in terms of height, orthodox stance, 67.5-inch reach disadvantage, a 2.61 takedown average, 53.81% significant strike accuracy, minus 270 favorite. Significant wins for him will be Steve Irsig, Brandon Royval times 2, Manel Kape, and Brandon Moreno times 2. Now, a few things to get out the way. Just have to get it out the way. The statistics for Kai Asakura are not all accurate, specifically takedown average and significant strike accuracy. There was no data in there when it was input into my spreadsheet because there was no data for him. So yeah, Kai Asakura is going to be 31 years old. Why do I struggle with his name so much? I'm not really good with Japanese names. Kai Asakura is going to be 31 years old, 24 wins, 4 losses, 13 knockouts, 3 submissions, 5'8" in terms of height, orthodox stance, 69-inch reach, advantage. The takedown average, significant strike accuracy are not right. He is a plus 220 underdog. Wow, I'm surprised he's an underdog. Impressive. Significant wins over Yuki Matoya, Hiromasa Ojikubo, Shoto Watanabe, and Manel Kape. Yes, Manel Kape is in there. So, why am I not high on Kai Asakura? I can't say his name, it's just his. I was really good at Hiromasa. But Kai Asakura is good, he's exciting, he's flashy, he's dynamic, and that's just about it. I definitely, because he's coming from Ryzen, and we saw Ryzen go up against Bellator, and what happened? You know what happened? They were all absolutely mollywopped, absolutely destroyed and annihilated. It looked like they didn't even belong there. And now we're going to be having the Ryzen champ go up against them. Keep in mind as well too, the Manel Kape one is from 2019. He fought Manel Kape twice. Manel Kape beat him the second time, finished him the second time. Kai Asakura is a very exciting fighter. He's got really good power. He can one-hit KOs, but not against Alexandre Pantoja, who's never been knocked out. I just don't see an avenue in which Alexandre Pantoja gets knocked out. He's not getting submitted. And Kai Asakura, they just really highlight his knockout power, but they go over when he cracked the skull of whoever it was. Whose skull did he crack? But yes, most of his knockouts are actually body shots. It's actually body shots. He actually mainly hits some flying knees. What was it? Could he crack his skull? Whose skull did he break? I can't remember. Regardless, his main thing is like hitting to the body. He does a really good job of flying knees. He does a really good job of body kicks. Another thing as well too is also his main thing. Who was it? Sasaki? I can't remember. He broke a guy's skull, but most of his knockouts come from body shots, and also a lot of his game is through the soccer kicks. When he gets someone as ground opponent, those soccer kicks to the head or knees to the head are really good for him. He can't use those in the UFC. Well, he can use the flying knees and body shots, but otherwise he really can't use those soccer kicks. I think Pantoja is gonna put on a grappling clinic on him. Kai does do a very good job of defending grappling. His takedown defense is really good, and people struggle to take him down. But then again, that's in the ring. The ring is easier to defend takedowns sometimes. Maybe defend them kind of, as opposed to the octagon with the cage. I don't know. I could see Pantoja blanket him. I think Pantoja is going to be the more proven over the distance as well too. I think he has the better cardio. Kai will probably burn himself out trying to knock out Pantoja. If it gets a chaotic brawl, I think Kai will win the exchanges, but Pantoja will catch him off guard, get him on the ground. He'll out grapple him and win that aspect. I think Pantoja will win. I know they want to get some more blood into the flyweight division and bring over a hot star, but they really should have set him into the top 10 and let him fight some top guys and work his way up. They really should have did that, because we saw MVP, they drew him in there and he ended up losing. He looked really good his first fight, yeah, and then he lost after that. They should have did with Kai Asakura, and they should have got him some other top flyweights, had him fight them, see how good he was. Because I'm sorry, I think Pantoja is going to beat him, and I don't think it's going to be as exciting as a fight. Pantoja's only been boring his last 2 fights, honestly. It's like a lot of people say, oh, but Pantoja one of the most boring champions. No, he's only fought very recently boring. The Roy Val fight and the Usyk fights were boring, but the Moreno fight was my personal, I think I had it fight of the year actually. It's very good at 290. Yes, 290. I don't know. Either way, regardless, Alexandre Pantoja decision is my pick. And yes, that is going to be it for UFC 310. I actually went pretty long with this one because it's actually a decent card. I don't think it's the best of cards, but I definitely think it's good enough card to end at the end of the year. I really would have wished they just made the co-main event interim belt. I don't know. I like it a little bit better. And I wish they did a little bit better matchmaking with some of these fights. But regardless, this has been your boy Gomi. Please let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Bye-bye.